Hi everyone, welcome back to Ria's collection. I am going to make this super simple, easy and delicious 3-ingredient passion fruit mousse with berries today. Let's begin. So the ingredients are passion fruit juice. I have extracted it straight from the fruit and I'm not using a sweetened juice from a box here. That's not what you need. We also need some condensed milk, and the quantity of condensed milk will vary according to the type of cream you use. So I have used heavy cream here, and that has not been sweetened. So these are the 3 ingredients that we need to make this mousse. So the first step is to mix the passion fruit juice. So again, this is straight from the fruit and it's not been sweetened before. And you mix that with the condensed milk using a regular wire whisk, or you could even use a fork or a spoon, whatever that you can, to get it all mixed up. And when you're doing this, take a moment to enjoy how the color changes, and it's going to turn into a nice creamy liquid, a nice creamy thick liquid. It's okay if you're not going to mix it all up because condensed milk is very thick and the passion fruit juice is really thin. But the point is just to combine it, so that's going to be easier for the next step. So it looks like it's almost combined and I'm okay with that. So set that aside. And now I'm going to get this bowl and pour the heavy cream. So this is not been sweetened, okay? So if you're using a frozen whipped cream, make sure you adjust the quantity of your condensed milk accordingly, because I hear that it's mostly always sweetened. So using your hand mixer, your stand mixer, or even a whisk this heavy cream or your whipping cream into stiff peaks. So if you're using a dairy cream like how I am using here, make sure you start at about a low to medium speed, and as it thickens up, it's going to splutter a lot like how you can see in the video, but as it thickens up, increase the speed gradually. You want to incorporate the air into the whipping cream gradually so that it doesn't deflate later in the fridge when you let it set overnight or however long you want it to be. So make sure you do it gradually from a low speed to a medium high speed. And as it thickens up, keep an eye on it. You don't want to over whip because it's going to turn into butter. So lift the beaters up, and if they are pointing up like this, like small stiff peaks, you know you're done. You're not going to whisk it any further because the risk is high. It's going to turn into butter, okay? So stop it at this stage. And now all you need to do is add in that passion fruit and condensed milk mixture into this stiffly whipped heavy cream, and you're going to combine all of them together. So once you're doing this step, you can taste the mixture, and if you feel you need to add more condensed milk, feel free to do so. Because like I mentioned earlier, if you've been using straight from a dairy heavy cream, you don't need more sweetness. But if it is something like a sweetened whipped cream, you'll definitely have to cut down on the sweetness. So start maybe at 3/4 quantity of the condensed milk that I have mentioned if you're using a sweetened whipped cream. If it's a regular dairy heavy cream, you can go forward with the measurements that I've given, okay? But then if your preference is to have a sweeter dessert, add more condensed milk always. There's nothing to go wrong here. So it's easy to customize. So gently fold all the ingredients together until it looks like this. It's going to turn a nice pale yellow. So now that it's all combined well, I am going to now transfer these into smaller jars. You could use one big container if you want it to be easier on you, especially the cleanup, or you can use smaller glass jars like this. So this is what I'm preferring. And I am going to divide this into 8 little jars. And we will also be topping them up with some berries. And let me tell you something, the plate that the berries are in, I made that during one of the pottery classes I went with a friend of mine. So just transfer them equally. I just used a spoon. I want them to look rustic and homemade, which is why I'm doing it this way. But if you want to make the process easier, look more professional and more neater, you can transfer this mousse mixture into a piping bag without any nozzle. But you could also choose to have a nozzle. But if you don't want to have a nozzle, just cut the tip off and pipe them equally into all of your glass jars. I feel this quantity is perfect for us per serving because it's not a lot of dessert. At the same time, it's just enough to, satisfy your sweet cravings. These days, I feel a lot of places serve desserts in a very huge portion that towards the end of it, you feel sick. So I just did a quick swirl with a spoon to give that nice little rough look and some interest on the top. And now we're going to add the berries. This is optional. If you want, you can just top by just making the mousse, or you could also top it with some fresh, straight out of the fruit, passion fruit pulp with some seeds in them. It will add to a lot of interest, but I didn't have that, and I felt the berries are going to add a lot of pop of color. So, which is why I chose the berries, and our kids love berries, so I think they're going to like this. So, like how I mentioned in my mousse cake video, always top things up in odd numbers. They kind of have more appealing look somehow than having them in even numbers. So I'm using one half of a strawberry and 2 blueberries. And that's the last one. So here we are. The simple passion fruit mousse is now ready. They look great, and I love that I did that swirl on the top of the mousse. It's just to add some extra interest on the top. So here it is. A super simple passion fruit mousse is now ready to be enjoyed. I hope you give this recipe a try, and when you do, come back and let me know in the comments. Until next time.